nearly 200 years, piracy was believed to be a thing of the past. In that time, international trade has flourished, with nations being able to transport goods across the world's oceans virtually unchallenged. 90% of world trade travels by sea. Our food, our fuel, our clothes, our cars, our electronics, virtually everything we need or use comes to us by ship. International piracy has meant that certain ships' insurance premiums have gone up tenfold. That means the cargoes that they carry have gone up in price too. You may have a romantic image of a pirate like that of Jack Sparrow, but in reality, they murder, kidnap and maim. The world has three main piracy hotspots: the South China Sea, the Bight of Benin and the Gulf of Aden. Over the next three programmes, I'll be on a global search to learn more about modern-day pirates. In three dangerous stretches of ocean, I will try to discover why piracy is on the increase, how it threatens global trade, the lives of mariners, and what's being done to stop it.
We can't throw a vessel approaching us. Right, the gunner on this side is loading, and he's got eyes on.
My global search culminates in a revealing interview with a Somali pirate. Who is giving you the training? 30 schools for piracy. You think the situation has changed now? Over the last 6 months, the newspapers have been full of stories of audacious pirate attacks occurring off the coast of Somalia. Hundreds of ships have been hijacked and dozens of crew members held to ransom. I've come here to the International Maritime Bureau on the banks of the River Thames. It's an organisation that's at the heart of the fight against modern-day pirates who threaten ships, their crews and global trade on a daily basis. Captain, thank you for agreeing to talk to us. Do you have any idea how many pirates are operating in the Gulf of Aden?
We are told that there is many hundreds of young Somalis seeking a career in piracy. It's one of the most sought-after careers in Somalia, in a country where there is no other proper economy.
How violent are they?
Well, they are very well armed. They have automatic weapons, they have rocket-propelled grenade launchers, and in trying to board the ship, they will use as much violence as they can.
After almost 20 years of civil war, Somalians are amongst the poorest people on the planet. It has little or no infrastructure, and half the population are starving. There is one region in that crumbling country, however, that has seen a partial economic upturn. That region is Puntland, and the reason is piracy. The busy shipping lanes off the coast of Somalia make rich pickings for pirates. 23,000 vessels pass through the Gulf of Aden every year. It is the quickest trade route between markets in the east and the west. The only alternative means going round the Cape of Good Hope. This can take up to 3 weeks and cost hundreds of thousands of dollars in fuel. Since the upsurge in piracy in the Gulf of Aden, an international fleet of warships have been sent to protect the merchant ships and their crews. We've been told if we try to step foot on the Somali mainland, we'll either be killed or kidnapped. But we have been invited to join the crew of HMS Northumberland. She's a Royal Navy frigate, and she's presently patrolling the coast of Somalia. It's the first time a Royal Navy warship has been tasked to fight pirates since 1816. I'm flying out to join HMS Northumberland in the port of Salalah, Oman. I'm welcomed on board by the ship's captain, Commander Martin Simpson.
Good morning.
Pleased to meet you. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm very well. Welcome to Northumberland.
Thank you very much. The 200-strong crew are nearing the end of a 6-month deployment in the area.
Revolutions 6-5. All stopped, wheels amidships, zeros in the window, 2 steering motors in hand. I have the ship.
You have the ship, sir?
We just got on board HMS Northumberland, and we're just about to leave Salalah in Oman.
Slow stand first engine.
All lanes on board,
25 forward on, sir.
Slow stand first engine, stop to repeat, sir.
This is a real critical stage for everybody here, you can tell. We've only just got on board and everybody is slightly edgy because they've got to move this massive piece of equipment out of port. And I have no idea how much it costs, all the dangers involved in it, but you can tell that everyone is slightly edgy as we move away very slowly from the quayside. Can you tell us a little bit about the mission?
With the Piracy as it is at the moment, our primary objective within that mission is to protect the World Food Programme ships. Secondary to that is other vulnerable shipping in the Gulf of Aden. And finally, to arrest pirates.
Is there a particular environment that they prefer to operate in?
This environment. It is easier for them to board ships when the sea state is calm, so the choppier the water is, the better it is for the merchant vessels.
HMS Northumberland is part of the European Coalition Anti-Piracy Initiative known as Operation Atalanta. She's a Type 23 frigate equipped with a powerful arsenal of sophisticated weapons. However, catching pirates in 1 million square miles of ocean is not easy.
Are there particular ships that are more vulnerable than others to actually piracy?
The vessels that have been pirated have all been slow and have a low freeboard.
Low freeboard being
the distance from the water to the main deck, or a deck at which they can put a ladder on.
the vessel coming up now.
Yes.
Is the freeboard on that too high?
That's probably low enough. That would be slightly more difficult. That one, for example, over there, is very low freeboard.
Yeah, isn't it?
All the pirates will do is they will wait until they see something that looks promising.
What happens once they take control?
The pirates themselves don't hurt in any way the crew of the vessels that they've pirated. We want that to continue. So if we start taking down vessels that have been pirated, there is a very great risk that the innocent civilians will either be caught in crossfire or, at worst, executed.
As we enter the operational zone, the crew is brought to action stations to make sure everybody on board is ready for any eventuality. Lieutenant Commander Rob Kitt explains the procedure.
We're going to go to action stations, not because we're under attack, but we're about to go to our higher alert state now because we're entering our patrol area.
We'll be just below action stations from now on, while we're in the vicinity of the pirates.
Yeah, if you keep people at action stations all the time, you just knacker them out. They'll be tired in no time at all.
So if people don't get to their positions at the right time, they get a bollocking.
And we go around and physically check every position.
The potatoes are obviously very important. We're going to throw those at pirates.
Well, you laugh. If a ship's closed up at action stations for a long time, you still need to feed people. And they get tested on it as well. They have to produce a meal at action stations.
We're just out of Omani territorial waters now, and the guys can't carry ammunition while they're in the port in the actual weapon systems. So they're just about to get all the weapon systems activated and ready to be used should we come into contact with pirates.
A warship has to be constantly drilling, exercising and testing the countless weapon systems and safety equipment on board. The Marines on board practice close-quarter battle techniques. I asked Sergeant McCaffer about the training and the restrictions the Marines work under.
And how many times do you go through this drill now?
You can't do enough of this, to be honest. I mean, you practice all the time until it becomes second nature.
You once pirates on and control the hostages, are you allowed to board that ship?
No. I mean, if it's effectively a hostage situation where they've adopted a defensive posture and they're threatening to take the lives of the crew, then that's kind of out of our jurisdiction.
And that's largely because the pirates so far have never actually taken anyone's life?
Not yet, no, but we don't want to force the issue.
With these restrictions in place, Northumberland's only opportunity to catch pirates is during the small window of time when they are actually boarding a vessel. 6 months ago, a corridor was set up to try and make it easier to protect the merchant ships. However, this narrow part of the Gulf is still where the majority of pirate attacks take place.
All stations, all stations, all stations. This is Coalition Warship Foxtrot 2-3. We are conducting maritime security operations within the Gulf of Aden. Anyone witnessing any suspicious or criminal activities are to contact Coalition Warship on Channel 16. Out.
So we're about to enter the corridor, is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Corridor starts now 50 nautical miles away, down to the southwest. This is the block where piracy takes place, essentially. There's the corridor. There's the Bab el-Mandeb Straits on the southern tip of the Red Sea.
Up here is the Suez, yeah?
Yeah, right up here is the Suez. As you go past Aden, you get a lot of vessels that look like pirate vessels. So what we'll do is we'll generally sit to the north of the corridor because the merchant traffic does tend to get a bit nervous around that area.
How long will it take us to actually cover that corridor then?
Just a shade under, maybe 40 hours.
Well, it's the end of a very long first day aboard HMS Northumberland. To say quite tired, it's been quite exhausting and fascinating. There's a warm breeze blowing across the bow of the ship now. Stars, Milky Way is absolutely fantastic. Beautiful canopy above us. But you have to keep reminding yourself that there are pirates out there somewhere, and maybe like looking for a needle in a haystack, but they're out there somewhere, some pirates, and we're just about to enter the main channel where they operate. So with that pleasant thought, I'm off to bed.
Captain Andy Morris is called to the bridge after some suspicious dhows are detected.
But we have a large group of dhows with a significant number of skiffs around them. My intention, though, is to do an approach and assist visit on that group.
The Marines on board are part of the Navy's elite commando unit known as the Fleet Protection Group. They are trained specifically for the purpose of boarding and searching vessels.
The helo's seen a couple of dhows with a group of skiffs about 5 miles away. I'm going to go over to the other group of dhows, conduct an AAV on them. It's fairly standard out here that you get the fishermen operate from a dhow like that. Yeah, and they tow their skiffs behind them. They'll probably have about 12 people on that.
Unfortunately, that's exactly what the pirates do as well.
Exactly. Makes it a little bit harder for us to distinguish them. Also, they've got equipment that they use for getting on board other vessels, and that's the key. It's the ladders. You can't hide a ladder on a skip. If we see grappling hooks, and obviously if they've got weapons...
Fishermen don't have rocket-propelled grenades.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bit of a giveaway.
Yeah. So the first one's gone now.
It's our third day in the Gulf of Aden, and we're off with the Royal Marine boarding party.
170, 2.5 miles.
At this stage, I have no idea what we're going to confront.
Travelling about 25 knots now. Rapidly approaching the dhow. These guys want to have a look at.
We'll just hold at that range.
One of the boats will hold off for fire support for the general purpose machine gun. The other guys will go up and ask if they can board.
Speak English? English?
Much move. يا مشموك كم شخص موجودين في السفينة?
See, these guys are going to get
fish.
So it's rather difficult as we don't have a turp on board at the moment, and these guys clearly don't speak English and we don't speak Arabic.
What's down there? People sleeping. How many? How many? 5? How many?
There are 16 people on board, 1 child that we can see. They've got a fair amount of fuel on board. They're from Yemen.
To OCRM, please, do not board until I give you direct order.
10 Alpha, this is do not board until given a formal order, over.
Yeah, roger. Well, the request order's in. We'll just hold off until then, over. That's a lot of people for that size dhow with one skiff.
So could they be running people?
Yeah, that's exactly what we could be doing. This is prime space as well in between Somalia and Yemen. They do a lot, so what I'd like to do is get on board and see if they've got any idea or anything like that.
Right.
We've had reports in the past that people smugglers see the Coast Guard coming out. They obviously don't want to be caught with the people, so they're fairly ruthless sometimes. They'll just chuck them overboard.
Really?
Yeah.
The Marines have to seek permission to board the vessel from the captain. He, in turn, has to get clearance from Command HQ in the UK.
You have to be so diplomatic at this point. British Royal Marines boarding a ship without permission or whatever can go down very badly diplomatically. Yeah.
And there are only sort of a certain protocol under which we can board.
Lieutenant Commander Martin Sinclair records all developments to keep a legal record of the encounter.
Full boarding is not approved at this time until further information becomes available. Sending the 2 seaboats to the second dhow.
Fishermen also are normally pretty proud of their catch. Normally we'll come alongside and they'll be getting them out to show us straight away. Again, way too many people here.
And young people. Kids.
Yeah. Speak English?
Here we go.
Yemen?
Yummy.
Permission to board any of the dhows never arrived, and we're left to assume that they were smugglers carrying people desperate to escape from Somalia.
RTB, return back.
We need to get back to the ship as quickly as possible. The Merlin helicopter is being prepared for takeoff, as some suspicious craft have been detected that are out of the range of the Marines' inflatable ribs. The helicopter is being sent to intercept them, and we're being allowed to join them. The Merlin has a sensitive radar and a powerful camera system that allows the crew to see distant objects in great detail.
As you could see men on there, etc.
It's very impressive.
Particularly useful when going up against the little fishing dhows which the pirates tend to use.
Yeah. Sorry, could you just explain to us what you're doing?
Yeah, at the moment I'm just managing the radar plot. So as contacts come up, I assign a track to them, and then I'm basically handing them over to Tiny as we close them. We're gathering evidence, basically using the camera. If there's anything there that doesn't look right, we'll call for further assistance, possibly, and get the ship to close them. Maybe with a view to doing a boarding if necessary.
That's something. Left, 11 o'clock, about 4 miles. You got something in the water?
Roger, I've got very, very faint radar contact, but not a lot. If you could close it and try and get visuals on it, that'd be good. I'm happy that the range is clear. This little contract's open now.
One of those fishing down type things on it again, but it is going forward tomorrow. Trailing skiffs behind it as well.
How many skiffs is it turning? 3? 4?
4.
Roger.
Hey, look at that.
All's quiet today.
Yeah.
Like these guys here are pretty obviously fishermen, we'll just let them go on their way.
But it is like fishing in the dark, isn't it?
It is. There's a lot of contacts out here and a lot of small contacts, and unfortunately because the vessels used by pirates are very, very similar to the vessels used by a lot of the fishermen, then it is very much a needle in a haystack.
Assessing that the dhows hold no threat, we continue our patrol over the busy shipping lanes. On average, 60 ships pass through the Gulf of Aden each day.
They're obviously a little bit twitched about pirates in the area. There's hoses out at the moment, that's to deter the pirates.
So of their generator, they're sucking seawater in and they're pumping it out from the side of it?
Yeah.
As a deterrent?
As a deterrent.
It may be early in the morning, but the ship never sleeps. It's continuously searching for pirates 24/7 as it patrols the Gulf of Aden. Its crew constantly trains and hones their skills for any eventuality.
So, anything happen, develop over the night?
Not in terms of piracy. As you can see, you know, we have the traffic corridor.
There's a lot of shipping there at the moment.
There's a lot of shipping. There's 16 or 17 merchant vessels. Plus, we also have 2 other coalition warships out.
Realistically, in the time that we've got aboard, do you think there's any chance of us bumping into a pirate?
There's every chance. As if you were a pirate, there's a lot of trade out there.
Below deck, the Northumberland is like a mini-city, a complex labyrinth of cabins and corridors.
Well, we've been on board a number of days now and we're getting used to life on HMS Northumberland. We can actually work our way to our bunks now at night. This is me, and find the head, which is the toilet, find a way to where the food is. It's got 200 plus people on board, 204 people. Okay, we're on the way to 45 mess, which is the junior ratings mess. And it's called the 45-man mess because 45 men live in it. Down these stairs. So we're on deck 3 now, I believe. How you doing? It's all right to come in? So you're always like this, aren't you? Just queued up waiting for people to walk in. How many of you actually thought when you joined the Royal Navy you'd actually be looking for pirates?
I did, I must admit. But then again, I joined in 1640.
It's a relatively new phenomenon. Like, if you mentioned pirates 5-6 years ago, you'd think eye patch, parrot on shoulder, wooden leg.
Johnny Depp. It's costing a lot of money also having you out here. Do you think it's worth it?
You're pretty much damned if you do and damned if you don't. If you do go and investigate skiffs and it just turns out to be fishermen, you could be seen as hassling them. But if you didn't go and investigate that and that turned out to be a piracy attack, then they would look and say, well, what's the point of you actually being here?
Their argument is that people go up and down past their coastline in very rich oil tankers and don't pay any money to go for the water, so they're legitimately taking what they believe to be a levy. Do you see their point of view?
I see their point of view. They've got families to feed, and they think the only way they can do it is no government for 20 years and all the rest of it, and they've got to feed the family. So let's go out and rob some vessels. But I've got a family to feed, but I don't go around pointing guns at people. Well, I do.
Big ones.
All positions, MCO. The ship is now in River City, Station 2.
Around 3 in the afternoon, our quiet day becomes very busy. The bridge scrambles the Merlin crew to the flight deck and the Royal Marines to the inflatable ribs.
Okay, let's get ready, we've got to go.
Two small unidentified vessels have been picked up by the radar. The captain dispatches the flight crew and the Marines to investigate.
The Marine boat team have now encircled the skiff. Both Marines have got eyes on, the boat has stopped and they've put their hands up. The Marines will now be talking to them to find out who they are and what they are.
Alongside the skiff, it's immediately obvious to the Marines that these are more unfortunate people desperate to escape a war-torn country. As the Merlin checks on the other skiff, the bridge of the Northumberland receives a distress call from a merchant ship, the MV Soldana.
Tell me what's going on. Can you tell me what your situation is, what's going on now? Over.
3 speedboats on starboard side. As far as we send the message, they slow down. The mothership is in our port side, about 1.5–2 miles.
Increase speed and stop manoeuvring, sir. Yeah, what happens with this ship?
Boat still approaching at low speed now. We try to keep them astern.
Piltara, this is Foxtrot 238. I want you to increase speed to your maximum and start manoeuvring heavily to port and starboard.
Okay, send the helicopter off down our fairing, please.
With us on board, the Merlin is dispatched to the ship that's under attack.
So there's a potential act of piracy going on now. We don't know whether it is or not. The guys in the Merlin have been tasked to get there as soon as possible. It's 60 miles away. So we have to cover that 60 miles as fast as we can.
Our position is 1313 north.
1313 north.
06 east, sir.
The vessel is just called the potential attacker. Is this blue dot here? Where over here, the distance between the two is about 60 miles. The helicopter has been sent off. It will be there in about 12 minutes' time.
The Merlin has 2 Royal Marine snipers on board who carry an array of specialised weapons.
This is the AW-50. It's mainly used for taking out engine blocks and accounting the cottage rope. And these are armour piercing. They've got a black tip.
The black tip means armour piercing. Green is explosive, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So they'll go through this bit and go into an engine block and stop it from working.
Yeah, it will just pretty much disintegrate them.
That's a pretty tough shot to make, isn't it? When you're on a helicopter.
People think it's sniping. You're shooting from an unstable platform to an unstable target. Okay, on the screen now, you can see Saldana, about 8 minutes away from being on sea.
There is an American warship close by, and she also dispatches a helicopter to the Saldana.
So what we've got is a very nice situation. So we have 2 coalition warships in the right place. I'm out to the west. The USS Vela Gulf is further out to the east.
It's now a race against time. The Merlin has to catch the pirates in the act of taking the ship, as once they're on board, it will be too late, as the safety of the crew comes first.
We're about 4 minutes away now. We're going to approach these boats that made the distress call. Also, the American battleship is aware of what's gone on. I think that's launched his helicopter as well. So it's looking like it could be a bit of a bumper fight. But looks like we're going to be there before anybody else. I've confirmed the GPMG, the dual-purpose machine gun, has been prepped and ready to go if it's needed.
Let's say the mothership is about over 3 miles behind of me. One fast boat together with this vessel, and the other three fast boats, they run away, maybe they are now 8-9 miles far from me.
As the captain of the Saldana reports that the skiffs have retreated, it's the American helicopter that's on the scene first to assess the remaining threat.
Yeah, I just spoke to the Vela officer. Their cab's on top. Don't assess it as a threat. They're keeping it there, might just monitor the situation. He says it's more likely they'll RTB their cab shortly.
Okay, I want to know when he's absolutely convinced they're fishermen, not pirates.
Roger, can you just ask them when they are absolutely convinced they are fishermen and not pirates? Also, I've sent a second VHF call from a yacht 9 miles from the original call went.
Okay.
Turns out the Americans got there just before us. It worked out they're just fishing boats, chasing tuna, no doubt. That said, there's been another call from Northumberland saying that there's another suspicious ship 10 miles back the way we've just come. So we're turning around now and heading after that one. Up to the flotilla of yachts that are coming up to my right-hand side now, and the skiff that was chasing them was backed off. It's been ascertained by the pilot and by the observers that there's really nothing to worry about. It's a fishing skiff. As often happens, another false alarm.
Even with the Merlin's range and reaction time, the crew have been stretched trying to cover the various distress calls today. I'm beginning to realise 2 things. One, searching for pirates is a bit like being at war. Endless moments of boredom, punctuated with brief moments of excitement. And 2, despite the Navy's impressive capabilities, the sheer size of the Gulf of Aden means that the odds are stacked against them.
Okay, good evening ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the intelligence update for piracy within the Gulf of Aden.
In the command room, Sub-Lieutenant Simon Henderson conducts an intelligence update.
It is believed that the majority of pirates are affiliated to clans within the northern part of Somalia. These clans give logistical support to pirates, giving enough food and supplies for for the vessels which are held in the detention areas and their crew. Motherships. Motherships were introduced to the Piracy organisation around about September last year. It allows pirates to loiter at sea, operate further out, in excess of 500 nautical miles, and in rougher conditions, also holding resupplies of food, ammunition, water. Does anyone have any questions?
Is it frustrating gathering all this intelligence and knowing that your window of opportunity to actually apprehend a pirate is very, very small?
It's extremely frustrating. We have a snippet of information that in this general location there may be a pirate skiff. However, we may be 200-300 miles away. By the time we get there, by the time we launch the Merlin helicopter, they're long gone. And a piracy attack lasts 10-15 minutes. So unfortunately, unless you're in the right place at the right time, you aren't going to catch people. And it's a lot to do with luck, unfortunately.
We know that pirates like to shadow vulnerable ships and then attack in the half-light of dawn or dusk. And for one ship in the Gulf, dawn the next morning would prove to be critical. Early next morning, we prepare to come alongside an American oiler to refuel at sea. As 200 tons of fuel are being pumped on board HMS Northumberland, 60 miles away, the crew of a merchant vessel are under attack. The first indication of anything being wrong is when the bridge notices that the ship has changed course and is now heading for Somalia. That ship is the MV Soldana.
Okay, now so give it a call on VHF channel 16, please.
Soldana, yeah. MV Soldana, MV Soldana. This is Coalition Warship Foxtrot 238, channel 16, over.
The ship that we oversaw yesterday was heading down inside the corridor created for safety and suddenly diverted out of it and is heading towards Eel.
The situation is at the moment, I've got a merchant vessel, Soldana, who we saw yesterday in the traffic corridor heading from east to west, who is now on my ship's head at about 8 miles, heading southeast towards the Somali coast and the Horn of Africa. And I've had an indication this morning that she has been pirated.
There has been no distress call from the Soldana, but her drastic change in course is not a good sign. There is, however, a chance that we can get there before the pirates take control of the whole ship. But that chance is slim.
All I need to know right now is what is her situation?
MV Soldana, MV Soldana. This is Coalition Warship Foxtrot 238, over.
Romeo, this, and have good visuals of the upper deck, the bridge wings, and the bridge itself.
We went past the Soldana yesterday. Yeah, we did indeed. We've missed out there, but they've made no call throughout the night, so either it's a very stealthy attack or who knows what's happened. Yeah.
MV Soldana, this is Coalition Warship Foxtrot 238, channel 16, over.
This is just essentially dry cargo. Yes.
Coalition Warship Soldana, Captain speaking. We are under hostage situation. The control of the vessel is seized by the pirates.
How many crew do you have on board, over, sir? How many crew on your vessel, over?
We are 22. For the moment, all of them okay.
The Merlin's camera is trained on the bridge wing and is managing to pick out figures on board the pirated vessel.
There's 2 personnel visual on the bridge roof.
Come on, Bravo, Hotel Juliet 2 Romeo. We've now had a VHF traffic from Soldana confirming they have been pirated.
Starboard QPMG. Roger. Load gun. Roger, load gun.
Right, gunner on this side of the helicopter now loaded, and he's got eyes on.
The this is Coalition Warship Foxtrot 238. What is your situation at present? Over.
The pirates request to stay away and not to transmit any other message to you.
Options are very limited, to be perfectly honest. I can monitor what she's doing, where she's going, and report that back. But in terms of being able to go and seize the vessel back from the pirates, that is not an option. I don't have that capability.
There's one guy just coming down the ladder now.
We've had confirmation now over the radio that this ship has definitely been pirated. So it's on its way to Somalia, pirates on board, and it's such a shame really because we've been told we can't get any closer. One, so the pirates don't take it out on the crew in any form of retaliation, and B, because if we get too close, they could launch an RPG attack against the helicopter. Very frustrating for the guys in the helicopter here, and also for the Royal Marine boys who would obviously like to take a shot if they could.
I've spoken to the master of the vessel. The pirates want us to remain clear to avoid any danger to the crew. That's exactly what I intend to do. So I want the helicopter to RTB now, please.
Okay, let's go back now.
Go back, yeah?
I'm pissed off.
How frustrating is that then?
Fucking frustrating.
Yeah, roger that.
I got nothing on the distress channels. It happened where I wasn't. And to be here in the Gulf of Aden for any ship to be pirated is frustrating.
The crew of HMS Northumberland can only watch as the Soldana and the pirates sail past, headed for Somalia. After so many false alarms, the feeling of disappointment and frustration is tangible.
They have the upper hand at the moment. They can lie in wait and just wait for warships to be somewhere else, wait for the right merchant vessel to come along, and I believe that to be the case this morning, that we were just not in the right place, but I can't be everywhere.
While patrolling the Gulf of Aden on HMS Northumberland, a merchant ship has been pirated 60 miles to the south of us.
The Merlin's just been relaunched. The Soldana's been pirated, but those pirates had to have gained access to that ship via a skiff. So they're off now searching to find out if there's a mothership out there or whether there are any skiffs floating out in the ocean.
The helicopter picks up a faint echo on the radar, and immediately the Marines man the boarding craft. They suspect it to be a skiff, and it's in the area of ocean where the Soldana was pirated. Despite being apparently empty, the Marines approach with caution in case the vessel is booby-trapped. The skiff contains everything necessary for an act of piracy.
Powerful outboards, enough to catch up with a merchant ship, and then a ladder, good 12 feet long enough to climb up most low freeboard merchant ships.
Captain Andy Morris and Sergeant McCaffer are first to board the skiff. They discover money, clothes and equipment, indicating that the pirates didn't intend to lose their vessel.
And you can see this is where it's sheared away from the Soldana. This is the rope that snapped. There's a considerable amount of fuel on this skiff. There's also money on board, quite a lot of cash. There's a compass at the back, and then there's the food. Look, that's what they've been eating.
They clearly support Arsenal as well.
They support Arsenal, big Arsenal fans. RPG.
definitely confirmed now these are pirates, without a doubt. There's an RPG warhead at the front of the boat. They definitely wouldn't have wanted this ship to have broken free from the Saldanha. The launcher's not here, so you suspect there are other RPGs on the Saldanha now. Someone's got the launcher that goes with it, and their AK-47s.
Rocket-propelled grenade warheads have been jettisoned, ditched in 2,500 metres of water, so they're no longer a hazard in any way, shape or form. We're going to recover as much as we can from the boat. I've just been given approval to sink it on completion because it is a hazard to navigation.
Don't actually get to meet a pirate, but I get to get in his ship.
The ship's gunners sight the pirate vessel.
Okay, lower it down.
Well, it's still afloat, believe it or not. Burning, but the tracer from the Minimi alight. We've got range on it now. Pretty much had everything you can chuck at it, apart from the 4.5 gun at the front, and it's slowly sinking into the sea. Maybe there's a little taste of frustration the boys feel about not actually having caught a pirate just yet. Certainly took it out on their ship, that's for sure.
As the skiff sinks into the Indian Ocean, I'm reminded that 400 miles away, the Saldanha is entering an anchorage off Eel, where she, 16 other ships, and a total of 292 crew are being held hostage. 18 hours later, HMS Northumberland enters the port of Djibouti, where we will disembark from the ship. Having seen pirates effectively take a ship from under our noses, I've come to sympathise with the crew of Northumberland's frustration and realise just how difficult their task is, policing 1 million square miles of ocean.
We've just made port in Djibouti. It's been a really interesting time for me personally to be on a warship, and many members of my family have served in the Royal Navy. And it's been very different from most of the experiences I have when I'm away. I have to say we've made some great friends. The people on board couldn't have been more helpful, and we actually were around when an act of piracy occurred.
We've heard various reasons from experts as to why piracy exists. Some say it's organised crime, some say it's because fishing stocks have been wiped out. Others have said it's purely because people need to put food in their stomachs. But the people we haven't heard from so far are the pirates. And to really understand why they exist and why they do what they do, we actually have to come face to face with the pirates themselves. And hopefully, as we push on through these programmes, we'll actually be able to do that.
In the next programme, I travel to the bloodiest pirate hotspot in the world.
Many are dying, many are wounded.
There, I'll meet a kidnap victim.
I actually got to dig my own grave.
Travel deep into pirate-infested swamps.
We are going to blow down this manifold and let government come and kill all of us.
And have to make some tough decisions.
The problem with that is, if you go and meet kidnappers, there's a good chance you might get kidnapped yourself.